Now, this illustration deals with limitations to permissible alterations in accordance with NEC 250.6D as in dog. Now, notice say the EMT that is supplying that sensitive electronic piece of equipment has a non-metallic spacer installed to prevent like an antenna effect and unwanted noise and currents and so forth in accordance with 250.96B as in boy. Now notice we're not card and plug connecting this equipment in accordance with 250.146D as in dog, but we're hardwiring it in accordance with 250.96B as in boy. Now notice there's a non-metallic spacer installed right there at the equipment. Now the reason it's installed right there, the noise that the equipment may produce during operation will be isolated right there at that non-metallic spacer. However, any noise that may be coming in over the EMT, for example, is isolated also. So we don't pick up noise from the grounding point of the service equipment, say. Now, the equipment ground would be sized now based upon the overcurrent device in the service equipment ahead of that EMT and the circuit conductor supplying power to that electronic equipment that you see in the drawing. Now, basically speaking, rule of thumb speaking, the noise that would travel from the grounding point of the service equipment over that equipment ground will kind of choke out, say, about 3/4 of the way, and you wouldn't receive that noise that would be created by that current coming over that equipment ground into the equipment there. And then vice versa. Any noise that the equipment produced over the equipment ground would travel, say, 3/4, 2/3 of the way toward the grounding connection at the service. And it's kind of in an isolated mode with the equipment ground copper resistance absorbing it and not allowing it to get to the equipment in such a manner that it could cause the electronic equipment to malfunction in some manner. So what this is calling out, you do not have to put that spacer there, but it is permissible to do so. Now notice in the boxed in information, it gives some good information so the user understands exactly what's taking place here. The provisions of this section shall not be considered as permitting electronic equipment from operating on AC systems or branch circuits that are not grounded as required by this article. Currents introduce noise or data errors in electronic equipment shall not be considered as the objectionable currents addressed in this section. And then remember, if we had a raised floor, I believe we'd go over to 645.15 of the NEC right in that area, and we would find how we could use the grid system or the supporting metal of the raised floor to serve as an equal potential type plane to limit noise between equipment that's bonded into that system. Now, we'll look at that more when we get at the tail end of this chapter 16 and review some illustrations that may be helpful to the user of the NEC where such a problem would occur. So figure 16-10 is simply illustrating limitations to permissible alterations to prevent sensitive electronic equipment from receiving unwanted noise and unwanted currents that might cause it to malfunction and not operate properly in accordance with NEC 250.6D as in dog.